I'm Sierra Kane, and welcome to the Indie Film Wrap. In this week's episode, we have with us filmmaker Sam Felman.
Sierra, thank you so much for having me on. I am pleased to be here.
Yes, excited to have you on board.
Sierra, I haven't seen you in since before COVID? That's crazy.
I feel like I haven't seen anyone since before COVID. If any industry is doing it right, the film industry has been doing a good job with getting back to work.
They've definitely had their hurdles. We're a resilient industry and we're very adaptable. So I have high hopes for production, but distribution is going to be a whole other ball game.
Speaking of the film industry, you are a filmmaker. And what I love to hear from guests is, what is your origin story? I feel like every filmmaker has, something that initially made them want to become a filmmaker, or like, how did you even realize that was a path you could take?
I mean, there wasn't really one path. When I was a kid, I was really interested in miniatures and drawing and arts and crafts. And then when I got my first camera and I realized that this was a job, combining all of these artistic skills into one kind of medium, I didn't look anywhere else. Somewhere there's a home video of me, and I'm 10 years old, and I took a newspaper and my father's old clothes, and I created this kind of dummy torso, a full body dummy. And I laid it out on the couch and I stood behind it and I put my arms through it and I pulled myself apart on camera. And it was like, what is up with this kid? He's weird. But
I love that. Your kind of first film adventure is like tearing yourself apart.
Oh my gosh. The first on-screen decapitation was Wizard of Oz.
What?
When they're ripping the scarecrow apart. That's the first on-screen decapitation or disassembly of body parts. It's not something that you think about. I remember reading that trivia. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah, I got the chance to work on a horror film before, and I don't watch them that much. I just tend to enjoy like art house films or other styles. But being on a horror set is some of the most fun I've ever had.
What was your role? What was your role in the horror film?
Oh, I was the victim.
Cool.
I had bloody, it was like my skin was ripped open from here to here, and I had my hair in a crazy mohawk, it was pinned up, and it was.
That is so cool.
I mean, yeah, the magic of filmmaking is so fun. Who is a filmmaker that you maybe saw at a younger age, or when you started, taking film more seriously, that has kind of inspired you and what you like about their filmmaking?
I think that we as artists evolve, and our work evolves, and our our ethos evolves as we grow. So when I was young, I remember watching Speed and thinking, how do they do that? Keanu Reeves isn't harmed. How does he give an interview after getting blown up? This is crazy. But then as I grew up, I realized how meaningful a film can be, how captivating it can be, inspirational, how it can bring about change, like most art. It's such a film school answer, but I really like Casablanca. It has a mix of everything. It has love, it has mystery, it has
one of the most misquoted lines in film history.
Played Again Sam is not in the movie. No. God. Yes, absolutely.
Oh, I love that kind of response. Just taking that breath in and being like, oh, yes, that's what movies should do to people.
Exactly. I mean, a movie is not real life. It's its own kind of world and creation. Casablanca is written to be poetry. The dialogue rolls off the tongue, and it's snappy. I like it.
I have definitely peeped on your IMDb.
Oh God.
No, I think this is so important for viewers to kind of see that, you know, there's a trajectory. It's not just I'm a director. So I want to hear more about being a PA versus production coordinator. What were some of those amazing lessons that you learned that helped you to become a director?
There's a different amount of access that occurs with each job. Like a production assistant won't be able to watch a director perform their duties, while a production coordinator might. I remember being on set for the People's Choice Awards and not even seeing a control center. I knew that there was one, but I didn't see it. But working on that metal show at Sony, we were on the ground floor, and we could stop and take new takes. We didn't. We were shooting, like, I think 4 episodes a day. Yeah, that was a really low budget show.
Wow, that's impressive though. Four episodes a day.
It's funny when you talk to a DP who does TV versus a DP that does film.
Yeah.
Their perception of time is very different. Like, a TV director is like, I don't understand how you can get 5 shots done in a day on a movie when we're shooting hour-long episodes in 8 days. Like, I don't get it. You know, different jobs, but the same job.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, different energies and different skill sets required for both.
Absolutely.
I think that's great for our viewers to hear too. Like, you know, what kind of energy do you want, or are you looking for? Are you like into that fast paced go go go? Then TV might be more for you. If you want to like take the time and enjoy the art or the nuance of it, then filmmaking might be right for you. So
Absolutely. I think for anybody who's aspiring, the number one thing is to do your own stuff, and to do that on the side, so that when you do rise up the ranks in the film world, where your level of mistake is more crucial, you know, you'll know what you're doing. Like direct your own projects before you get paid to, and that way you're not going in totally green and possibly, you know, stepping on your own foot.
yeah, make the mistakes on your own terms, and then learn from them, and then take
Exactly. Exactly. And every job, production coordinator, you know, stage manager, they're all really hard jobs, and they take a lot of practice.
What are some tips, tricks, hacks, things that you know, that maybe mistakes that you've learned, things to share with people looking for any of these kind of like tips or tricks?
Overplan like crazy. I think, you know, when you you'll write a script, you'll shoot a script or shoot a movie, and then you'll edit a movie, and they're not all the same movie. You need to walk in with a certain level of flexibility and looking at each aspect of filmmaking as its own piece. So if you write a script and it is the best thing you've ever written, and you've taken a lot of time to put it together, you're not going to be shooting that script. You are going to be shooting something totally different on the day, because things happen. Yeah. Locations change, camera operators don't show up, you know, things happen. And I think the sign of a really good director, or a really good filmmaker, just in general, is being able to adapt and work well with a team and come up with solutions. On our film choice, we arrived at the location. It was 30 degrees. I think it was 3 or 4 in the morning. We had to get the sunrise, and we had 2 camera operators coming. It was the first time we had 2 camera operators, because we needed that sunrise, and it was crucial. We didn't have enough money for another day. Yeah. And one of our camera operators didn't show up.
Oh,
just didn't show up.
oh,
And we were like,
no notification.
okay, no notification, nothing. So what did we do? We said, all right, we're not going to wait for him. We're going to get all of our shots. All the actor or both actors are kind of limited in the number of takes they can have. We can kind of limit our coverage, but we really needed it because it was all storyboarded and we needed every shot. And we took the pay that would have been going to the second operator and we had a nice lunch. I could not have been happier with the results. We were able to combine a lot of those shots together. So it looked like we got more coverage than we did.
I was just going to ask, if you ended up, pulling out your iPhone and getting the second angle that way, or if it was just the same camera.
So there's one iPhone shot in the whole thing, or two. There's two iPhone shots, and they are at the end when the car is driving onto the freeway.
Okay.
So yeah, not
B-roll or establishing.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Those shots at sunrise though were really difficult to film. I mean, the sun is rising so quickly. There's actually a ton of visual effects on that scene just to make the light the same.
Oh, wow. And it's a very, I'm an actor, so I come look at a lot of filmmaking from an acting standpoint, and that it's an emotional scene to have to be like, okay, we got to get this in one shot.
Sierra, you're seasoned. I mean, when I saw you performing at Writers Group, you kind of snapped into a role. You kept it. You made clear choices. That when you're walking onto a set and you don't know what the elements are going to be, you don't know that it's going to be 30 degrees. Yeah. You got to adapt quickly.
Yeah.
And some people adapt better than others. I know one of our actors was really shocked that he would be wearing only pajamas and walking out in 30-degree weather. I mean, he had to kind of, Kevin had to really fight back the shivers. And, how does that affect your acting? You don't know until you're there. So.
Yeah, but also that is a great point. So I think a lot of people forget about this, and they should, because when you're watching the final product, you don't want to be thinking, ooh, was that actor really cold? Or, oh, I wonder what those circumstances were like. But really, there's a lot of acting that is just acting to the level of the circumstances and being, acting like your character is comfortable with either blazing lights in their face or hot lights or freezing or wind whipping around, or a number of different, or 30 crew members all looking at you. Like, there's a number of things that you have to, as an actor, just start at that level of, and then have your whole character and the thoughts and, creating this whole person and character on top of that. So you bring up a good point, and I'm glad that you commend your actors for that.
He was definitely a trooper. I think that sometimes as a good director or somebody who really understands their actors just personally can manipulate the elements to get what they're looking for. Sierra, if you're uncomfortable with bright lights in your face and the scene calls for an uncomfortable scene, maybe that's something that you would want to help you get into that character. Not when you don't want to be comfortable in a scene, but as a director, you have to trust your actors, and the directors have to trust you, and they have to know that you're going to get them the best performance possible, and you have to trust them that they're going to trust the process and do their homework and put themselves totally into a role, even when it's 30 degrees.
Yes, I love that. Yeah, it's such a symbiotic relationship that needs to happen there, and I think that's a beautiful way of putting it. I want to talk about choice more.
No random person is going to come up to me and say, oh, you must be in the witness protection program.
I need you to take this seriously.
I never thought that my life would end in suicide. But I want you to know,
from the bottom of my heart that I didn't have a choice. Please remember, this wasn't your fault.
You're still the same person.
Everything I say from this point on is a lie.
So how did this project come to be? Was it something you thought about years ago and tucked away, or did you just, decide to write it in one evening? Or walk us through some of that process.
I used to shoot actor reels, and I have since transitioned into short films as a way of showcasing actor talents. So if you're an actor and you need an actor reel, and actor reels look like actor reels, Kevin Reverts came to me and said that he wanted to shoot an actor reel. And I said, why not a short film? And he said, okay. I asked him what kind of characters he generally goes out for, and he said police officers. And I said, okay, we've seen a lot of cop stuff. What is something where he can play a police officer, he can be in kind of a rural, kind of different environment that we haven't seen on camera in a while, and show a full range. And we came up with the witness protection program.
Yeah, I think that was a smart pivot, because the police officer can be cliche.
Absolutely. I think the non-smiling police officer is definitely a trope. But if you make him more of a bodyguard with really high stakes in his own court, it becomes an interesting story. It becomes an interesting character dynamic. She needs him, he needs her. They're not in a romantic relationship, and they have different goals and different motivations for their actions.
I feel like the police officer trope can also sometimes be one-dimensional, and I like that with his character we get to see different sides of him, which is also great for that actor and real material. So
thank you. Showing a different side of him. I won't spoil this part of the film, but that shot was actually shot after the sun had already risen, and there are tons of VFX on his face to make it look as though the sun is still low. I mean, it was bright light. We had shadows tracking around his face and then adding red color. So at the end of the film, the two of them have a confrontation, and he's telling her that she needs to stay, and she's saying that she needs to go. She can't be in the witness protection program anymore. And this is the sunrise scene that we're talking about.
Let's take a look at that sunrise scene.
When were you gonna tell me?
I didn't want to hurt you.
So you didn't think I'd care when my friends and family found out I was dead?
That wouldn't have made a difference.
But it matters to me. I'm stuck in this person that I don't even recognize. I don't even know who I am anymore.
And the redness in the sky is all fake, by the way.
Oh, so okay. So
all of that is fake.
So all of that is special effects. And did you have to do that? Did you did that all yourself?
Yeah. Kind of like what we were talking about earlier, like experiment on your own stuff and then you can experiment on others' work. I was learning how to mess with, Adobe Premiere light filters and lightning. I should be using DaVinci for all of this, but I don't have DaVinci. I was experimenting with this on a different project, just my own small project, and then this project came around and like the sun is rising and what are we going to do? How do we add some dynamic range to it? How do we add some color to it? And that is a red filter in one spot that cuts around her head and then tracks with her as the shot moves. It was really hard.
Oh, I love video effects, and I love it even more, the fact that I watched that scene and I can't tell, and I think that's the beauty of video effects.
When there's a good symbiosis between the two, you can't tell.
We're coming to a close here, so I do want to hear about some of some projects that you're working on now or that you're looking forward to?
Just that. We've been in a lot of film festivals. I won for Best Writing, was nominated for Best Direction, which is so awesome. I feel so fortunate. Kevin Kissling, our DP, was first runner-up at the top indie film festival for Best Cinematography, and he was nominated at another. Both actors have been nominated for Best Actors. You know, we feel very fortunate that this has been a good round, and we're going to keep it going.
That's awesome. And where can everyone see the film?
So right now we're on the festival circuit. We also have it available through the Louisiana Film Channel. Special shout out to Susie for hooking us up and making us feel comfortable and introducing us to the streaming platform. So excited. Yeah, and you can find us on facebook.com/choice short movie.
Right.
And on my personal website, www.samfelman.com.
Sam, thank you so much for joining us. Everyone, go check out Short Film Choice.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate being here.